Hello, welcome to another Maximum Power video. I'm Paul. Today I'm going to just do a very quick update on a couple of things that have been going on, either with a couple of things I bought and also a couple of things that have been going on in the sort of retro community. So obviously, a lot's been going on, which I'm going to touch on in a moment. Then obviously I want to talk about I say upcoming episode. It's actually going to be out roughly around the time I put this out. So if I've timed them right, it should be going live at roughly the same time. And it's a bit of discussion about our amazing interview with Jaz Rignall, ex Meme Machines, CVG, GamePro editor, and many others. But I'm going to get onto that in a few minutes. Now, first of all, straight down to business, get through a few quick things. What I wanted to talk about was just a very couple of pickups, very quick. Marked another couple of things off my to collect list, which I've put pictures out. So I know some people have already commented on that, so thank you. Basically, I picked up, I know I've tweeted this out, Civilization, which was in the Super Play Top 100. Now, I've got this on Super Famicom, right? And I'm going to be honest, I'm absolutely awful at Civilization. On the chip text box I've got playing behind me, currently showing Dungeons and Dragons, Score and Beat 'em Ups, fine with. But Civilization on SNES, I have tried to play it recently. Again, in English, and it's absolutely solid. Now, to get this on American, you're probably looking at about 70-80 quid. So what I did was I managed to get this from Spain for £14. So quite a bit of a difference. It's not in bad condition. A little bit of, slight bashed-inness. That's not really a word, is it? There. But it's in really nice condition inside. I've said it before, I love the Super Famicom carts. You got the manual in really good condition. Obviously, I totally understand every single word of this. No chance. Unless, I suppose you could always just watch YouTube playthroughs. But, as said, because it was in the Super Play Top 100, I do want to mark it off my list. And, obviously, we've got the cart. And we've also got, I'm not going to open it up, but like a unit map in there as well, which opens up into showing all the different things. Again, I don't understand. But it's one that I just wanted to obviously get, because I don't mind obviously investing the serious cash, like in a American version of it, if it's something that obviously I do want to play. I know it could be seen as cheating a little bit, but even getting Civilization, on Super Famicom when I've looked, I've not really seen it for that good a price. So I am considering whether or not to get Earthbound, as Mother 2 instead, because again, I have got ROMs of it, and I know if you do get a Retron 5, you can get the translation patches. I'm a bit, torn really. It just comes down to cash, because obviously Earthbound, you are looking at a couple hundred quid, and that's quite a lot of money. But anyway, obviously I'll do updates for that. It takes me down to needing 5 games, 95% of the way done now for the Super Play Top 100. Don't know what I'm going to do when I actually finish it. Might just obviously do a bit of a video type update, play the game a bit, do a mini review, something like that. But anyway, the other thing was another issue of Nintendo Magazine System. This is March number 18 from 1994. It's not got the Konami mini mag, but apart from that, it's in really good condition. It's still covering the NES quite a bit, and also the Game Boy. It would fade away from covering NES and Game Boy games in the next, well, not Game Boy as to put it, but NES definitely about 4 or 5 issues later, because then it starts obviously talking about the Project Reality, the N64 type games coming out. But in this, it's an era of the magazine I absolutely love. I think there's some really good stuff in Nintendo Magazine System, but I'm going to touch upon that in a few minutes. Now, 2 pieces of news. First of all, I know that it was Revival last weekend, which was, I'm recording this on Tuesday the 23rd. So Revival down in Walsall, a lot of friends there, and I know that Retro Asylum have done like all the talks there as well, and they had a great response to the Jim Bagley talk as well about the Spectrum Next. And the Kickstarter finished last night. Now this finished on over £700,000. Now they're asking for 250,000, which it hit its target in no time. It hit its target in like a day and a half. So there's a lot of love for this and a lot of excitement. So it's like a brand new 8-bit machine. Now I've not actually ever been a Spectrum owner. My only 8-bit machine is a Commodore 64, and that's what a lot of my experience are, you know, of when it comes to the 8-bit games. But there's a lot of hype, you know, around this. Anyone who's backed it, they know they're going to be like, you know, getting the money's worth out of that because it hit all its stretch goals. So, you know, you're getting a really, really nice, perfect starter pack, you know, the Spectrum Next with a few games. So well done to all the guys there, and anyone who's helped promote it. But while we're talking about the Spectrum, something I never ever say, so also, you know, because I know I'm mainly on, you know, Super Nintendo and stuff, but a bit more Spectrum love, and this is something that I am quite actually looking forward to. Now, I've only got one issue of this magazine, and this is something that I picked up quite cheap in a lot of magazines, and I'm pretty sure that if you were a Spectrum owner, you probably bought this. Crash magazine. Now, Crash done by Newsfield. We're going to touch upon another one of those titles in a few minutes. Now, Crash was like the most popular Spectrum magazine, you know, well, fondly remembered. I know you have things like Your Sinclair and stuff like that, but when I speak to Mark R. Jones, ex-Ocean, he speaks of Crash so fondly. Now, as I said, this is the only issue I've actually got, but Chris Wilkins from, who's done like books, one sec, just gonna show you. Probably seen his work. I've only got a couple, but he did like, you know, the Fusion Retro books, Ocean, US Gold, load of others. Now he's working on a Kickstarter to do a Crash Christmas special coming out this year. Now on Facebook, if you search, you know, Crash Annual 2018, you should be able to find the page. Now it is getting more and more popular. I think when I spoke to Chris just in a message, I think he was saying he was looking about August time, putting it live. Now, even though, again, not a Spectrum owner, never have been, this is something that I will definitely back, because he wants to get people from the games industry involved. So people like Mark Jones, who are a massive fan of the magazine. You've obviously got Ollie Frey, Roger Keane working on it as well. People, you know, worked on the magazine, and editors, and you know, the Ollie Frey covers were just so well known for Crash and Zap 64. So yeah, it's very, very interesting. This is something you will hear more about from me, especially because it's something that I do want to definitely back. Very, very excited. You know, it's anything like that, a magazine that is you know, no longer with us, but you know, it's re-releasing it type thing. Got to get behind that. But again, more as we get to it. So moving on to the main thing now. So I'm not going to take too long of this, but I just wanted to offer a bit of visual expansion, as to put it. So our new episode, I've out roundabout now, it should be out, depends on you can watch this really, is interviewing Jaz Rignall. Now, as many of you know, I absolutely love my magazines. I do mention this a hell of a lot. So to speak to Jaz Rignall was just a dream come true. You know, he was like on my really want to interview list, or wish list, as it's also known as well. So I was lucky enough to have about 2.5 hour chat with him, you know, about his, well, 30 odd years now, you know, like in the industry, talking about a bit of modern gaming, his thoughts on that, what's he playing, what's he like, and also how he started off in the industry, how these magazines he's worked on have become so legendary as well. You know, it's good to see that, and there's not many people who've worked on so many big name magazines. You know, sometimes you know, you get lucky, you have one or two. But Jaz Rignall seems to have worked on a magazine. It's obviously got really, really popular, and when you listen to the episode, you'll know that he's always looking at how can I improve this or what can I add to it. Now, this is one of the things I'm just going to show this just for a quick second, because this is not his era of Zap 64, but one of the things he does mention is he did, you know, want to get behind like the Amiga coverage. So obviously after leaving Zap, it does cover the Amiga a little bit. So, you know, I think whoever took over Zap a bit later on, so that was from June 89, you know, obviously got on the Amiga, not bandwagon, because obviously it did well for a good few years. But anyway, what I want to do is just have a quick look at just a couple of magazines, and it's just a very, very quick link to basically Mean Machines. Now, after Zap, Jaz did go on to computer and video games as deputy editor and editor. Now, he talks about his early days of getting into a magazine and things like that. This is really the earliest CMVG that I actually got, and it's absolutely battered. This is from November 1988. R-Type there on the cover. Now, I am just going to have a quick look at a couple of little bits. You can see as well the layout of the magazine. It looks quite, we'll say old. This is one thing that it does touch upon, really, that the layout of CVG hadn't changed too much over those early years. Now, I only actually started buying CVG myself in about 1992. So between this issue here and 1992, I'd gone through a few different, you know, relaunches and redesigns. You got loads of adverts here for Gremlin Games. Mark Hardesty, I know you're a massive Gremlin fan and you've been flying the Gremlin flag. So I just want to just show a couple of adverts there for a few titles. And a couple more. A few compilations as well. So, to the point. So, with CVG around this time, so the consoles were starting to get a little bit more popular, and this is something that we do talk about. So I'm just going to go straight to the point, really. But before I do, just the letters page here. Letters page with Jaz Rignall. So quite an early issue, really. I think he'd only just returned to the magazine around this time. But what I want to do now is get on to the main section. So you have got, I know I'm flicking through, this is what Mean Machines started off at, as even. We've got Mario Brothers on the Nintendo, a very small section. Mean Machines, the very first console coverage. So, as you can see, just a few pages here towards the back of the magazine, because the 8-bit machines were absolutely massive at the time. You had the ST, you had the Amiga. You've also got Mike Tyson's Punch-Out here, an advert there, and review. So, then there's quite a few big name games. Sega TV Action, an advert there as well. A couple more reviews, is it? Super Mario Brothers 2, so a little bit of news on that. And yeah, the advert for Sega Master System is saying from £80, which includes a Master System, 2 control pads, and 3 game hang-on built into it, I think I remember. Or you can get the Plus version for £100, which includes a Master System, 2 control pads, Light Phaser, and you get Hang-On and Safari Hunt. Still nothing that's really interesting. And then £130 for Super System with Master System, 2 control pads, Light Phaser, 3D glasses. Who doesn't love 3D glasses? Free game, Missile Defense 3D. And this just shows how long ago it is. Sega products are available from leading stores of Woolworths, gone, WH Smith's, still knocking about, Dixon's, no, that went, didn't it? John Menzies, maybe up in Scotland, I'm not too sure. Toys R Us, Kids Store, Toy and Hobby. God, everyone remembers Toy and Hobby. You know, it was Lego floors. And a few other places. So, just moving on there. That was about it with the old, console section. I'll have it there for Capcom as well, Street Fighter 1. So, going away from Mean Machines in there, it eventually went to, and the selling issue of Mean Machines I've got. So I'm not really going to spend too much time on it, because again, we are going to talk about this in depth in the podcast. And again, it got its whole magazine based on console releases, you know, NES, Master System, Mega Drive, Super Famicom, Game Boy. So obviously things were changing to obviously show everyone how many great games were coming out. People wanted these big import games, you know, pages and pages of advertisers, well-known advertisers as well, Console Concepts, I know that. Matt from RGDS, he's about to come out with an interview with the owner of Console Concepts, one of the very, very big importers at that time. Speaking of which, speaking of the devil, not Matt, if you have it for Console Concepts. So anyway, Mean Machines, obviously really popular, it lasted 24 issues. A lot of love for that, and then we went on to these two. Oh, sorry, I was shaking the camera like crazy. Nintendo Magazine System and Mean Machines Sega. Obviously, both branching out. Now, I'm not going to start going through these because I've mentioned them on other videos. Lot of love for these magazines from me. Highly thought of by a lot of readers as well. And this is something that we do spend quite a bit of time talking about. Which one did Jaz prefer and why? Was it a case of did he get everything he wanted from these magazines? Was there anything he wanted to do differently? Moving away from magazines and onto Virgin Interactive, working over in America, and leaving the magazine part behind, and then obviously going on to working on GamePro, IGN, etc., and a few others. So a lot is covered in a 2-hour plus interview. So again, we hope you enjoy that. This is only just a very, very little basic thing that I've just wanted to just put together there. Again, hope you enjoyed it. Give it a quick comment. Listen to the show. Hopefully you'll like it. As soon as this is out, we are working finally on getting episode 50 now recorded. So it's obviously the top 50 games for Maximum Power Up, as voted by us and also you guys, the listeners. The Super Nintendo episode, which I know keeps being put back with Phil, Chris and Amy, is in the can, as the term goes. It's just obviously gone on the back burner a little bit. You know, I've been so excited to get this episode done and out. So obviously just had a bit of a swap over. So it will be coming, but God, that's going to be like in July, which just shows how quick this year's going as well. Finally, check out NERG, which is up in Gateshead, first weekend in July. Fantastic event. Phil's there. I'm sadly not, which I am quite disappointed by. We are doing a Windjammers tournament, if anyone's a fan of that excellent game. And yeah, it's going to be absolutely fantastic. You know, I've enjoyed NERG the last couple of years, and sadly I just can't make it this year. But yeah, that's all for me. Again, comment, like, whatever, and speak to you soon. Thanks a lot, guys. Bye.